Alright guys, welcome. Today I wanted to share this crawl fork I found today. Apparently this person has gone fork to crawl and they made some changes here. They removed Feloids. What's up with that? And then they added some species and then they made it super nerfed. It's like, why would you do that? Like, I don't know. But I like the term Feloid. I think it's hilarious. So I kind of want to build on this fork a little bit. I'm clicking, but I can't fork it for some reason. So I'm just going to go ahead and clone this. Git clone depth 1 https github.com/world crawl consortium. I believe their name was zcrawl, and then we're going to output it to, see, we don't want to call our fork zcrawl. Let's call ours zcrawl. Alright, zcrawl. Cool, so now we can get to work. So in their fork, they removed Feloids, added Feloids, and then they made them super nerfed. So let's do something about that. That's not really cool, huh? So, I mean, one thing that people have been asking for Feloids for a while now is letting them wear scarves. And that's not in mainline crawl, but Jeremy has added that to Spicy Crawl and formerly Circus Animals. So we can just go through this area and try to figure out what he did to do this. Another thing I was thinking of is Feloids used to be able to pounce. So Gamma Funk removed that in 2014 because Feloids were overpowered, I think. So I was thinking that would be a good change too, but adding that back in, like, this is a lot of code. Like, I don't know if I could do this. Like, some of it's translation stuff, but other stuff is like actual how it works, and I'm not that good at C++. So I think another good change, and I believe this is an original idea, is giving Feloids whiskers. So let's try to start with that. So I guess it's going to be a mutation. Let's actually look at the species definition for Feloid. So let's go into crawl source vim dat species dat boy Feloid. So look what they did, HP -7. How could they do that? Alright, so mutations fall into a couple categories. There's innate mutations, which are those up here, and then there's fake mutations. So the difference between the two is that fake mutations aren't the kind that you can just get from quaffing mutation potion. And then the real mutations are. I guess that's the best way of explaining it. Fake mutations also last for the duration of your character. Normal mutations, when it says 1 here and 6 down here and 12, that means that you get these mutations at certain levels. So if we want to give our Feloids whiskers, let's mute whiskers. We'll make that a level 1 mutation, and it'll only ever be level 1. So there we go. Feloids have whiskers. Job done, right? No. So there's a lot more to mutations. So let's take a look at some of the important mutation files. vim mutations.cc. Not that one. Vim mutation.cc. So in here is kind of conflictions and which armor slots mutations go in, stuff like that. What do we want to do here? Let's see. I don't think we actually need to be in this file at all. Let's actually look at mutation data. And we'll also take a look at mutation type here. So mutation data. So this is what a mutation is. This is the data structure in crawl for a mutation. So you have, this is the enum. So we talked about, wait, what? So an enum is an integer that auto increments. It has a name, and that's going to be this variable here. This is going to be how often the mutation is giving out from mutation potions and Jivia and stuff. How many levels the mutation has. I forget what this one's for. Whether the mutation goes away when you change form. And these are kind of obvious. We'll be modifying those. So here's an example of a level or mutation with 3 levels. So tough skin, you can have tough skin, very tough skin, or extremely tough skin. So there's 3 levels. Each time you get a new level, it says your skin toughens. Every time you lose one, it says your skin feels delicate. So here's an example. Let's take a look at this one. Poison resistance. Here's an example of a 1-level spell. So you can only ever have 1 pip of poison resistance. This is kind of what we want our whiskers to be like. So let's copy this. Let's go to the end of our file. I don't actually know how long it is. So we'll just tack it on the end here, right after acid resistance. So let's change this to mute whiskers. We'll make this 2, so it'll be 2 common. I don't know exactly how much that is, but yeah, we'll call this whiskers. And this is the description. When you do capital A, what it displays about your character, your abnormalities and abilities and whatever. So let's, your whiskers allow you to detect enemies. Detection plus. So we haven't really talked about what whiskers should do. But I just typed it so you already know. So whiskers should allow or give you the same abilities. What are those boots? The boots of the assassin. So the boots of the assassin gives you detection and stabbing. We already have stabbing as a Feloid, my mistake. So we just need the detection part now. So what do we want the message to be when you get whiskers? How about you feel something poke out of your face? And then your cheeks feel normal again. Does that look good? I think maybe this one could use some work. You feel a prickling sensation. Is that good? what does it feel like to have whiskers suddenly appear out of your face? Leave a comment down below if you know. Or if you have a cat, let's ask it. Another thing here is there's 2 spaces between these 2 empty strings. And look, they're everywhere. 2 spaces. Let's fix this. At least in our mutation. I'm not gonna go back and change the crawl dev's mutations, but we're gonna do it right in ours. So I think that's it there. Let's take a look at vim mutation type. What's going on in here? So this is the enum for mutation types. So it starts at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then it goes up to whatever. So let's go to the end. In mutation data.h, we dropped in our whiskers right after acid. So let's do that here as well. Mute whiskers, comma. So now, these are all the mutations. And then the next one is num mutations. So if you think about it, we started counting at 0. So right here, this enum value, if you were to think of it as an integer instead of this just variable name, it would be the total number of lines here minus 1 since you start at 0. And then num mutations would be the number of mutations. And then all this stuff, I don't know what it's for. But we're done there. Let's actually take a look at what happens with mutations. So let's think about detection now. So grep rn detect less. So we're trying to figure out where in the code base players detect monsters, and we found it right here in player.h. Player monster detect radius. So that's going to have a corresponding function name in player.c. So .h files are header files. They declare functions in the file so that other C++ files know how to reference the functions in there. So you can have 2 files that use functions from each other, and these header files are how they cooperate. So what's this function called? Player monster detect radius. So let's go into player.cc. We'll search for player monster detect radius. So let's take a look at how this is implemented. They get the radius from your level of antennae times 2. And then they also change it based on whether you're actually wearing the boots of the assassin. And if you have passive detect montier, I don't know what that is. That might be I'm guessing it's a god ability since you have PD involved. But we kind of want to add our stuff here. So let's change this to int radius equals u dot get mutation level mute whiskers. So boots of the assassin give you 4 radius detection. So let's do that here. Since we'll only have 1 level of mutation, let's just multiply it by 4. That'll make it easy to change in the future. But then that gets kind of weird if you have both whiskers and antennae. So if you only had 1 level of antennae, but you had whiskers, it would drop down your radius to 2 instead of leaving it at 4. So let's create an if statement. If u.get mutation level mute antennae is greater than u.get mutation level mute whiskers, and then we want to set our radius equal to the level of radius that you get from your antennae rather than your, we forgot to put in whiskers here, mute whiskers. So if you have more antennae than you do whiskers, you'll get detection from your antennae rather than your whiskers. So they don't stack, you just get whatever's greater. If you think about it, this mute antennae, if your mutation level is greater than your whisker mutation level, that means you have at least 2 levels of antennae, and that would mean that you get 4 radius detection. So these would both be the same if you had 2 antennae and 1 level of whiskers. So this only really comes into play, or matters, when you have 3 levels of antennae, which formicids do, and if you do mutation roulette enough, you will as well. So let's take a break from that file for a while. Let's go back. So player.cc does have mutation stuff, so let's, this file is super long. Like, we're already at line 8,000 here. So let's try to search for some mutations. So maybe like beak. We don't have a beak. Horns. No horns. Pseudopods? Yeah. So crawl has these helper functions that determine whether you can actually use the extremities that you get from mutations. So the reason that we're looking at these is I want you to only be able to use your whiskers if you don't have a helmet on. So if you imagine a helmet goes over your entire face, you're not picking up any vibrations of monsters due to your helmet being either blocking your whiskers or preventing your whiskers from vibrating at all because you're being pressed up against or whatever. I don't know. So let's copy these pseudopods one and we'll change it to whiskers. So that under the hood it just gets the level of whiskers mutation, but this has usable pseudopods. We're going to change this to whiskers first of all, but then in here we can do a check to see if the player is wearing a helmet. Whiskers. So we'll want to do that right in here. If you dot, so let's try to think about how you would find if the player is wearing a helmet. So let's go back to our grep and we'll do helmet. So if you look here, EQ helmet, and then there's arm helmet, EQ helmet, EQ shield. So even without knowing internally how all these work, you can tell that one of these means one thing, one of these means another thing for the EQ and the arm. Let's try to look down even further here. So there's some stuff on octopodes. Here's some cases for something. So do we see anything that has to do with the player wearing something? So here's an example. So u.slot item EQ helmet. So we could potentially try to pull an item out of there and see if it's in the armor slot or the helmet slot. But that doesn't tell if it's a helmet or not. So let's try to keep looking in here. So this is interesting. If item subtype equals arm helmet or subtype equals arm hat, that's kind of what we're looking for. Because we want to do this check, because hats don't go over your face. There is Mask of the Bear Spirit. Is that a mask or is that a cap? I think that's a cap. So Crawl used to have caps, but now they don't. Except for Cap of the Bear Spirit, I think. Is there really nothing in here? Let's see. This is interesting. Is hard helmet. And then it's looking in your inventory and then your equipment for your helmet slot. So let's actually look at is hard helmet. So grep to find it. Is hard helmet. So here it's being used in item use.cc. Here it has something to do with Minotaur. So Minotaurs can wear hats, even though they have horns, but they can't wear helmets. So maybe we might be on the right trail here. Bool is hard helmet. So I think that's the function definition. So let's look at item prop.cc. Vim item prop.cc. Is hard helmet. So what it's doing is item.isType object armor helmet. So how is that different than this? So is helmet checks for the armor slot item is in the helmet slot and it's actually armor. This one checks that it's in armor base type and then helmet subtype. So let's use this. So is hard helmet, and let's take a look at so we were looking at this line before, I think. Is hard helmet u.inv u.equip EQ helmet. So let's actually put that on the command line. So let's go back into player.cc. And we wanted to do that here. So if u dot what was it? Is hard helmet u dot inv. So we're looking in the inventory array. U dot equip. It was equip, right? Yeah, u dot equip. EQ helmet. So if you are wearing a helmet, what do we want to do? Return 0. So this function returns an int. Usually 0 is bad, anything else is good. So I think this is fine. Is there any bug you can see here though? What if somebody doesn't have any helmet equipped? What's this going to return? It's probably not good, and it's probably not going to be in the range of the inventory array. So let's check for that first. u.equip EQ helmet is greater than 0. So that looks good. Let's save this. Actually, let's take a look again. If you are wearing a helmet and it's a hard helmet, return 0. Otherwise, return your mutation level for Mute Whiskers. So that looks good. So the reason we made those changes was so that we could go into where we were doing our what were we doing? I don't even remember. Grip R and whiskers less. So I guess we were in player somewhere. Oh yeah, we're doing the radius. Vim player.cc radius. So we're in monster detect radius. We not only want to check if you have the whiskers mutation, but we want to check if they're usable or not. So let's use that function u.has usable whiskers, and we'll tell it to check the form as well. And that function returns the mutation level on success. So it'll work the same way. Has usable whiskers. True. Excuse me. Okay. Is that good? So your radius is your level of whiskers times 4. If you have more antennae than you do whiskers, you get radius from your antennae. And then it continues as normal. So I think that's good. Let's give it a shot compiling here. So this is our first time compiling zcrawl, so it's going to take a while. Oh yeah, we also need to do the install steps. So let's go up, git submodule update init. Alright, that's finished. Now we can go back into crawl ref source and do a make tiles equals y. Let's actually check my disk space first. df tech h. Yeah, we're doing alright. Running low, but we have enough space. Make tiles equals y. Oh, I just remembered one more thing we need to do. Let me stop that. Vim util release read last release ver, and let's set this to something like 0.1b. That looks good. So let's go back to building. So this is going to take a while. I'll bring you back when it's done here. Okay, so we made a couple mistakes here. So the first of which is we messed up this. The second is no declaration matches has usable whiskers. So the first fix, this one is easy. Let's do vim player.cc. That's on 6957. 6957 has whiskers. So that's good. The second issue is we didn't add it to the header file. So vim player.h. Here we should see has usable. So here's all the definitions. So let's just copy these, yank, and then paste, and then we'll put these at the end here. Has whiskers, has usable whiskers. Oops, I did that again, 2 S's. Alright, now that should be good. So let's try compiling it again and see how it goes. It should start with player dot, or it won't start with player. So when you change a header file, it's referenced in a bunch of other files. So you need to recompile those files that reference it because the reference has changed. So we're right back where we began, or maybe not as much. Only the files that reference player.h, which is a lot of them, but it's definitely going to be enough such that I'm just going to let this go and pause and then return when it's done. Okay, so crawl finished compiling, and I've had some time alone with my thoughts here. Let's look back at player.cc. Vim player.cc. So when we did this, u.equip eq helmet is greater than 0. One thing we forgot was that arrays start at 0. So if your helmet is on a, lowercase a, this would ignore it and let you deal with your whiskers. So we need to have that greater than or equal to 0. What the equal to 0. Or another way to do that would be not equals -1. -1 is what it returns if you don't have a item in that slot. Let's try compiling again. Alright, and let's do crawl. Yeah. Alright, I think I'll choose a random name. So let's try with a Feloid first. Let's do Berserker. So we're Sajil. So let's see if we can detect any monsters. We do! There's a monster here, but we can't see it. That's because your whiskers allow you to detect enemies. Cool. So, let's leave, and let's play again. This time, let's do a human. We can do fighter. So now we're hippoed. So let's go into wizard mode. Let's look at our options here. Player stats, that's not what we want. Memorize a spell. Item. We might want to create an acquirement or a mutation potion. I thought there was a... Oh, here it is. I don't know why it's under player stats though, but get a mutation. So that is ampersand, right bracket. We'll go for a good one. So our whiskers were good. We'll just have to keep doing that until we get whiskers. Let's take a look at our mutations. We have a ton of mutations, but we don't have whiskers yet. prickling sensation. Cool, so if we look at our thing, now we have detection. So let's see if it works on us as well. We didn't detect that. We didn't detect that either. We're not detecting stuff. That's weird. Maybe we just haven't had good luck? Oh, there it is, yeah. So we detected that. I was thinking that our horns might have impacted our EQ helmet, but no. So, now we need to test with our helmet on. So we need to get rid of our mutations. Or our horns, at least. So maybe we can go for bad mutations? Bad. We'll just keep doing that until we lose all our stuff. So we still have horns. So it can't give us any more mutations. Bad mutations. How do you get rid of a mutation? Let's go for any. Oh, we can go for name. Eat horns. No matching mutation names. Let's look at mutation names. So that's in mutation data. Horns. So let's do ampersand, right bracket, horns. How many levels? -3. Alright, so now our helmet is still restricted. Why? Beak? It's not because of the beak, I don't think. Let's get rid of it anyway. Alright, now? No helmet, okay. So let's give ourselves a helmet. O. Armor, helmet. So we just picked up a helmet. Wield H. So it didn't stop us. And we still have our detection. Oh, I wonder if we were detecting... Do we have antennae? No, we don't have antennae. I was wondering if any of our other mutations were interfering with our... teleport trap. Okay. Let's keep going. We didn't see those. We didn't see him. Let's keep going downstairs. Didn't see that. Oh, we just got berserked. We just got teleported again. Oh, we probably had teleportitis. Yep, teleportitis. So, are we detecting monsters is the thing. What's Berserk called? It's just called Berserk. So, right now we're just trying to see if we can detect monsters currently, because we have whiskers and we're wearing a helmet. And it seems like probably not. Let's give ourselves infinite everything. Because all we really care about is seeing if we have detection. So, we could have very well detected this one, but we didn't. Didn't detect that one. So, I'm going to go with we don't have detection. Like, there's plenty of monsters in here that we can't see, but we should be able to detect. So let's take off our helmet again and see if we can detect stuff now. Yeah. So as soon as we take it off, we start detecting stuff. Should have done that earlier. So that's good. So our change worked. So let's go in here. Let's take a look at what we did. Get diff. So we added whiskers to Feloids. We added whiskers to mutation data. We added whiskers to mutation type. We added some helper functions to player.cc. We added an additional check for detect monster radius. And then we added our function definitions to player.h. So let's call that good and get status. We can do a git commit tech a tech m add whisker mutation. Feloids have whiskers. Oops. So let's tell Git who we are. Git config user.email. Now we can git commit. Alright, and if we check out the git log, cool. So this is from zcrawl, and then this is zcrawl now. So Feloids have whiskers. So the next change we want to make is we want to let Feloids wear scarves. Like, I feel like a cat could wrestle itself into a scarf. Not so much a hat or a cloak, but scarf definitely. So we can check out Jeremy's change here. So this was made in 2018, and that was quite a while ago. So the crawl has changed a lot since then, or at least a little since then. So he changed item use.cc in can wear armor. So let's start there. Vim item use.cc can wear armor. So right here, one of the first things it does is it tells Feloids that you can't wear armor. If base type doesn't equal, if the item you're trying to wear isn't armor, it tells you can't wear that. If you're a Felid, it also tells you can't wear that, regardless of what it is. So let's delete this part. That's good. Do they reference Feloid anywhere else? So in wear armor, we can just get rid of this. Alright, that looks good. And let's go back to can wear armor. So here's a similar check to what we want to do. So if species is octopode and slot equals EQ helmet or slot equals EQ shield, you can't wear that. So octopodes can wear helmets, well, they can wear hats, and they can wear shields. So right now it's doing like a blacklist or a whitelist, whatever. So we kind of want something like this. Yank P. So let's go species equals SP underscore Feloid. And so we actually have the subtype already. So let's just check the subtype. Subtype not equal to what is a hat? So it's going to be arm something. So let's try arm hat. And let's write that. So let's actually grep rn arm hat and see if that's a thing. Yep, yeah, I guess arm hat is the thing. So we got that right. Let's go back into item use. So if you're trying to put something on and you're a Felid and it's not a hat, you can't wear it. Oh, actually, we're not trying to do hats. We're trying to do scarves. SCARF. Arm scarf. Is arm scarf a thing? I got so preoccupied, I almost added a good change scarf. Yep, arm scarf is a thing. So, I think this will work. So let's do a git diff. So we changed this to not check for Feloids. We changed this to check for Feloids. And then we changed this down here to not disallow Feloids entirely. So let's try and compile this. So rm item use.o and then make tiles equals y. And we're only compiling this one file because that's the only thing we changed. So let's try crawl. Let's do a Feloid berserker. We're sequif. So let's go into wizard mode and give ourselves what do we want to give ourselves? An object, armor, and scarf. We can give it an ego type. Let's do repulsion. Pops on the ground, and let's wear it. Wield B. Notice it's not grayed out or anything, that's good. and we can wear it. Cool. So we're a cat in a scarf. Perfect. Cool. So now that that works, let's git diff. This all looks good. Git status. Git add item use.cc. Git commit tech m. Feloids can wear scarves. Cool. So the next change we want to make was also in crawl spicy. So we added the scarf stuff. Feloids in DCSS spicy start with 9 lives and never increase. And they also don't lose a level on death. I'm not sure about this one, but we can do this. I think this is a good change. So let's go into, let's try to figure out, well, let's look at this. So we can read the commits. Feloid changes. Is that it? Probably. Look in here. So what are we looking for? So here's something in main.cc. They're doing a check for if the player is a Feloid and if spicy species is enabled. They're doing something in experience check. So let's take a look at that. That's on line 1553. Vim main.cc 1553. So, like I said, crawl has changed quite a bit since Jeremy made his changes. So let's search for Feloid. That has to do with quivers. So here's some experience level stuff. So here's some extra life things. XL equals U experience level, calculate your level. Yeah, we don't need any of this. So you're not going to gain levels anymore, or gain lives. You're going to start out with lives. Yeah. So that's good. What else do they do? Adjust level -1. So that's in nearby danger. So we're not actually going to do that. They made it so that you don't lose a level when you die. Here's something in ng setup. U.lives equals 9. So this makes sense. So you start out with 1 live, and then you increase when you get levels. However, we just made it so you don't increase when you get levels, so you need to get those lives some way else, which is when you start the game, you get them. So let's go into ng setup, line 595. Let's go to 595. So here's a good place. What they do? If u.species equals Feloid, u.lives equals 9. That sounds good. We don't need to do the spicy species check. Jeremy just does that so that you can turn it off or on. So let's do if u.species equals sp underscore Feloid 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 u.lives equals 9. 9. Okay. Does that look about right? Yeah. What else is in here? Here's some wear armor stuff. some gain life stuff. So let's try and see if there's any other kind of extra life stuff going on. So we don't need to gain lives. Actually, let's look at, we just changed main.cc. Let's look at what we actually changed. So it's calling will gain life. So let's take a look at will gain life, because we don't need it anymore, so we might as well get rid of it. Grep tech rn will gain life. So that's in player.cc. Will gain life. So let's delete this. So what did we actually change? So this is returning whether you should gain a life. Is there any other spots? Grep tech rn gain life. So in player.cc, there's another gain life check. Vim player.cc gain life. Okay, Feloid extra life. If will gain life, lives plus plus. So let's get rid of this. So that was in Feloid extra life. Where's that at? Feloid extra life. So we're in the function level change. So this is actually when your level increases, it does this. So let's get rid of that. So Feloids no longer gain extra lives. They start with 9 lives. Let's look at our changes so far. So we got rid of that from main.cc. We added that to ng setup, and removed this stuff from player.cc, and also that. So let's rm player.o, and then make tiles equals y. We're going to try it out. So what we want to check for is to see if we start with 9 lives and we don't lose lives, or we don't gain lives. So we already messed something up. Void level change bool. So there's another reference to this function that no longer exists. So it's vim player.cc, and that's on line 3026. 3026. So this is another check that if the experience you gained is greater than the experience you needed to, so this is if you go up by multiple levels, it makes sure that you gain a life. So we'll just get rid of that, and then we'll make tiles equals y. Let's try it out. We'll do a Feloid Berserker, random name. We are Otin attacks. Otin attacks. So we have our detection. Let's look at our knives. We have 9 lives. Let's try and get to level 3 to see if it actually goes up any, which it shouldn't. Actually, we'll have to lose a life first, since we're already at max lives. So let's die to the next thing that we see. Shouldn't be hard. We're a Feloid, right? Cool. So now we have 8 lives remaining. Let's get to level 3. Did we actually go down a level? You are now level 1, okay. I don't know that we were at level 2, but we probably went down a level. We can eat our body. Oh no, it's gone. So we're almost at level 3. Let's go down. You know, I was complaining about all this Feloid change stuff that that person did with their fork in zcrawl, but it's not really that bad. Like, I'm still tabbing, O-tabbing, and nothing could go wrong here. Oh, just died. Doesn't matter. Actually, it does matter because we're at level 2 again. Did we actually get to level 3 at all? No, I don't think we did. Well, we must have, because now we're level 2. It's Berserk. So, we should now be 7 lives because we died twice. Let's Berserk. Oops, we died. We're now at level 1. This is hard. AA. Let's see. Now we're at level 2. Let's go down. Look how easy this is. We're not even in wizard mode. We're just auto-skilling and O-tabbing. We're at 8 HP. Like, this isn't even optimal. So now we're level 3. Did we gain a life? Nope, this still adds up to 9. Okay, so that's good. Let's go into wizard mode and then quit. Cool. So get status, get add. Let's actually take a look at our changes again. Diff. So we made the change about gaining level or gaining lives. We set our lives to begin with, and we got rid of this gain life stuff. That should be good. So git add or git commit am Feloids start with 9 lives. Cool. So if we do git log, so we've made some good improvements to zcrawl. I think zcrawl is just going to be something really good. So Feloids have whiskers, Feloids can wear scarves, and Feloids start with 9 lives. So those are all good buffs to make up for whatever that jerk did to Feloids, dude. Like, I don't know how I could do that. And it should make up for, you know, drowning in water and stuff. So let's actually push these changes. So we couldn't fork it for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, this isn't actually ours. Yeah, we can't fork it. Yeah, it's weird. So let's make a new repository. And we'll name this zcrawl. And do that, create. So this is telling us how to add it as our thing. So let's do git remote add origin and then this. So this is what we're eventually going to do. So I can actually copy and paste this entire thing. So let's just paste, shift insert, fatal remote origin already exists, zcrawl. Oops, we just pushed to a crawl. That's not good. Oops. This exists now? I might have some work to do here, but I can do that off camera. So, I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you learned something. Catch you